All right, what's up everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Strength Classroom. Today I'm talking about why sumo deadlifts are not in fact gay. So to me, sumo deadlifts are so underrated. What makes people make fun of sumo deadlifts and say sumo doesn't count is when you have people in powerlifting competitions or just people in gyms that are, one, stepping out with their feet all the way to the plates. Number two, they're using straps that are sometimes barely in their hands, whereas they're using, like, let's say figure eight straps where you're never going to drop the bar. They're severely rounding their back, and they're using a deadlift bar, which all of this stuff cuts down on the range of motion extremely. My bar that I have is essentially a squat bar. It's stiff as hell. It has almost zero bend in it. So no, I don't feel that sumo deadlifts are even close to being a cheating exercise. It's only cheating if you're just moving it for the sake of moving it to take advantage of leverages. But at the end of the day, that's what powerlifting is, taking advantage of leverages to move the biggest amount of weight. But if you're just using it as an exercise in the gym, sumo deadlifts can end up being an ego exercise. But let me talk about the benefits of sumo deadlifts, because there are plenty, and you should not be excluding them from your routine just for the fact that there's less range of motion. So whether you're a powerlifter chasing big numbers, or a bodybuilder looking for bigger leg development, or an athlete looking for more explosive hips, sumo deadlifts kind of fit the bill. So what muscles does the sumo deadlift work? The sumo deadlift's a total body exercise, but there's some slight differences between the muscles that are emphasized in the conventional deadlift and the sumo deadlift. For example, glutes and hips are going to be the primary movers. It's going to be affected the most. And since your stance is wider and your knees are tracking outwards rather than forward, your glutes are going to be working harder, much harder, to lock out the lift. Your quads are also going to be used a lot more. Specifically, I can't remember the name, but the quad head that's on the outside. So, because unlike conventional deadlifts, sumo deadlifts require more knee extension, meaning your quads get way more involvement. Adductors, which are your inner thighs. The wide stance is going to heavily work your inner thighs, which are pretty much underdeveloped in a lot of lifters, especially general trainees. Your hamstrings are still active, but they're not as dominant as the conventional deadlift, because the sumo deadlift has slightly less forward lean than a conventional deadlift. Then your core and upper back. A strong core and upper back are essential to keeping the bar close to you and maintaining stability throughout the lift. If you don't engage them, your sumo deadlift kind of falls apart. So who benefits from the sumo deadlift? Basically everyone, but I'll break down each population and why. So powerlifters, obviously. If you're a powerlifter, this is going to be a no-brainer. The shorter range of motion means less distance to pull, and the wider stance reduces the strain on the lower back, while letting you use more leg drive. So some lifters are just going to be naturally efficient, or more efficient I should say, at sumo deadlifts. Just because you go wide and have a wider stance doesn't automatically mean you're going to move more weight. I tell people this all the time. Just because you grip wide and the bar is moving less, it's moving less in a much more inefficient motor pattern, or movement I should say. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate over to more weight, just like a sumo deadlift. If that was the case, everyone would pull sumo, because everyone would be able to use more weight. You wouldn't see a single conventional deadlift in powerlifting competitions, because why would you? Powerlifting is all about moving the most weight. Why would someone actively make the decision to pull less weight in a competition? So even if you're better at conventional deadlifts and sumo deadlifts, I still think you should use them as an accessory exercise, or mix them in every once in a while to build bigger and stronger glutes, stronger hips, your inside of your thighs. Just for those reasons alone, I think even though you're a conventional puller, you should add in the sumo deadlift. So why should bodybuilders sumo deadlift? Bodybuilders, for sumo deadlifts, they're, like I said above, they're an awesome way to build glutes, some hamstrings, quads, and your adductors, which you're really not going to get from the conventional deadlift. And this stance shifts a lot of the emphasis to your lower body as opposed to your back. And I know a lot of bodybuilders do deadlifts to build up their back and their spinal erectors, which you are still going to hit, but just not to the same degree as you would as a conventional, or let's say a block pull or rack pull. So if you want to do deadlifts and have more developed legs and still want to deadlift as a bodybuilder, I would give the sumo deadlift a try. For people that just are generally strength training, just want to build some muscle, build some strength, feel young, feel strong, I think sumo deadlifts are great for them as well. So sumo deadlifts are a great alternative to conventional deadlifts. Maybe you want to take some stress off your back, maybe you're squatting a lot and stuff like that. So sumo deadlifts can help offset and be a little bit of a deload for you while you bounce back and forth between the two variations. So obviously, if you're a general strength trainee, you can do whatever you want. And if someone tells you, oh, conventional deadlifts are better, just tell them to fuck off. And athletes. Athletes need strong glutes, strong adductors, and strong quads, and strong hips. So what exercise hits all of those? Obviously, it's the sumo deadlift. When I started training in jiu-jitsu and I looked at some stuff that Westside Barbell was doing and what their athletes with their wrestlers, grapplers, just anyone in that field, even like strikers, someone was saying, what's the best exercise to develop a combat sport athlete? And he said there's just something about that sumo deadlift where you have to press out and spread the floor that very well carries over to athletics. I gave it a shot. I started pulling sumo more, and I have to 100% agree with that. So whether it's football, soccer, or combat sports, this lift will make you more powerful and more resilient to injury due to a little bit more explosiveness and helping improve your hip mobility. But why are sumo deadlifts great for everyone? First of all, it's joint-friendly mechanics, which unlike conventional deadlifts, sumo deadlifts give you a little bit more of an upright posture, and that means slightly less stress on the lower back and less shear force on the spine. It can be customizable for your goals. You can tweak the stance, the foot angle, the grip position, and emphasize different muscle groups based on your goal and your overall structure and your body's build. If you struggle with conventional deadlifts, this can be great for all body types, so you don't have to be limited to your proportions. I would say a sumo deadlift, with your feet outside of your hands obviously, is more customizable than a conventional deadlift. So there you have it. The sumo deadlift is an absolute powerhouse of an exercise. Don't shun it just because people online call it gay or weak or cheating. Use it every exercise, sumo deadlift, not excluded, to your advantage. Anything that's going to help you reach your goals is an exercise that you need to take advantage of and maximize it to the fullest. Just because people on the internet have an opinion on something doesn't mean you need to conform to it. So, at the end of the day, try out the sumo deadlift. You might find a better way to pull for your body, and if you don't, just stick with conventional. It doesn't hurt to try. So if you like this video, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, have yourself a great day.